Okay, welcome back, year 9/year 10. This is your next lesson on the topic of smoking, so fumer. It's en classe and it's le 7 juillet. It's actually not lundi, it's mardi. Apologies for that. So this lesson is a continuation of what we did last week. Thank you to those who have uploaded some work. If you haven't, please do. I will mark it as soon as I can, and as I've said before, and as many teachers have probably said to you since you've been back in school, if you are not keeping up with the work online, you are going to be behind. Okay, so to begin, if you want to use your work that you've done beforehand to help with this, that's absolutely fine. But to begin, we're going to answer the question here, est-ce que tu fumes? Do you smoke? Why not? Now on the first grid, you've got français, with a few reasons as to why there are 2 reasons in French as to why you may or may not smoke, and the English next to it, or not. All you're looking to do is fill in the grid from the grid down below. So for example, where it says en français, ça me donne confiance, it gives me confidence, you need to find the English from the grid underneath. Similarly then for the second one, where it says it feels good, which of those statements underneath means it feels good? And fill in the grid as so. After that, it asks you to, number 2 there, catégorise les opinions. Now we like this because it's, yes, the French. The instructions are in French, but they're easy enough to follow. All you need to do is to transfer your grid into reasons that you might use for je fume, reasons why you smoke, and je ne fume pas, reasons why you don't smoke. And you can do that by just numbering the statements if you want to. Okay, now this is a really easy task, hopefully. It's going to assess your ability to A, recall vocabulary, and B, identify where certain statements fall, okay, in the positive category, in the negative, so on and so forth. Now I'm not going to mark this as we go along. I'll give you an opportunity to type up your work, and I will mark everything in one go. So once you've done that, your next task is here. Okay, so this is a read-in task by a guy called Benjamin, or Ben to you and I. I'll read it out to you, and this is typical of a higher tier type question, mainly due to the vocabulary. Now, of course, there's going to be stuff in here that you're not sure of, that you've never seen before. It doesn't matter sometimes. Just take it word by word, line by line, and I'll tell you what you need to do after that. So, Benjamin says, Je fume depuis 4 ans. Je ne voulais pas commencer, mais presque tous les garçons de ma classe fumaient et ils se moquaient de moi parce que je ne voulais pas fumer. Finalement, ils m'ont presque forcé à en fumer une. La première fois, je me suis senti malade et j'ai vomi. Mais je me suis vite habitué et je suis même devenu dépendant. Quand je fume, j'ai le sentiment d'appartenir à un groupe et ça me donne confiance. Je me dis toujours que je peux arrêter quand je veux, mais ce n'est pas vrai. C'est très difficile. J'ai essayé plusieurs fois et j'ai arrêté pendant 6 mois, mais j'ai toujours recommencé. Okay, so Ben is talking here in the past tense about his experience with smoking. He tells you how long he's been smoking for, why he started, and the problems that he's faced. Yes, there's some stuff in there we haven't seen before, but sometimes when you say words to yourself, they can sound like the English. I'm thinking, for example, j'ai vomi. Okay, so you've had a little read. You can make any notes you want. I will allow a dictionary for this if you want to use it. Try not to, because obviously the more you can do without the help of a dictionary, the better it is for you. But your first task there is trouver. Now, trouver you're going to see a lot. It comes up in the reading exam quite often. It means find. So beneath my blue box here, I've got a couple of sentences in English that I want you to find within the text. So I have smoked for 4 years. Hopefully you know that is the first line there. Je fume depuis 4 ans. And I'll leave the rest up to you then, okay? So you just give me the French for that, and we'll mark it, as I say, when you upload your work to Moodle. Okay, the following exercise is still based on this text, but it's your standard. Sorry, I've completely lost myself there. Looks like I am marking it with you. Je fume depuis 4 ans. All the boys in my class smoked. You should have underlined. Tous les garçons de ma classe fumaient. Peer pressure, yeah? They forced me to smoke one. Now, before this lesson, you probably did not know how to say forced or anything like that, but these words that look like English, they are your best friend. Here it is. Ils m'ont presque forcé à en fumer une. Une being une cigarette. I felt ill and I was sick. Je me suis senti malade et j'ai vomi. I feel part of a group. J'ai le sentiment, a sentiment like a feeling, d'appartenir à un groupe. I always tell myself I can stop if I want. Je me dis toujours que je peux arrêter quand je veux. And finally, I have tried many times. J'ai essayé plusieurs fois. Okay, well done. So these are the types of phrases that you want to be looking to put into any writing task that you do, any speaking task that you do, because they're going to get you lots and lots of marks. There's different tenses in there. It's mostly past tense here. So, as I say, try and recycle as much vocabulary as you can. Okay, our next task, I was a bit jumping in earlier, is still linked to this text, and it's your standard. Respond to the questions in English. Mark scheme in brackets there. Why did Benjamin start smoking? How did he react to his first cigarette? How does he feel when he smokes? What does he say about stopping smoking? So 2 marks each, and it says répondre aux questions en anglais. Respond to your questions in English and go from there. Now, hopefully, having done this task, this one right here, this might be a little bit easier. So that really hammers home the point that if you read your text a few times before you dive into the questions, you'll get a good understanding of it and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. So those are the sorts of things that I will mark when you upload your work. Okay, next one. Ignore the part that says travailler en groupe. We can't do this because we are not in each other's houses. So there are going to be 4 texts, and you just need to answer these questions. So you've got Damien, Lou, Charlotte, and Vincent. These are 4 young people who are telling you now about the problems that they face. Not necessarily smoking as such. There's other things in there. What we need here, and you can answer in English, is who thinks drugs are the biggest issue? Who thinks anorexia is the biggest issue? Obesity, lack of exercise is the biggest issue, or alcohol? Just a name will do. And then a little extension to that there, can you find those words there that are in English? Serious, they think, thin, to gain weight, bad mood, and common. I'll read them out just in case you want to hear the how they're pronounced. À mon avis, in my opinion, le problème le plus grave, c'est l'alcoolisme. Beaucoup de gens dans ma classe boivent déjà trop, says Damien. Lou, selon moi, there's that again, look, we've had that a few times. Le plus grand problème est la drogue. J'ai un copain qui prend quelque chose, il était toujours rigolo, mais maintenant il est toujours de mauvaise humeur. Charlotte says, je pense que le problème le plus grave, c'est l'anorexie. J'ai des copines qui sont très maigres parce qu'elles ont peur de grossir. And Vincent, il y a beaucoup de gens jeunes qui ne font pas assez d'exercice et qui mangent trop. L'obésité est le problème le plus répandu. So this would be probably a foundation / higher tier type of question. There's no intermediate in French. Okay, good. And again, I'll mark that as you upload the work. Okay, your next task is a matter of opinion, right? So you can't necessarily get this wrong. You've got 10 reasons here. 10 influences then, as it says at the top, on young people, things that affect you. And all we want you to do is to organise these in the order of their importance. So which of these do you think is the most common thing that affects young people? What I'd also like you to do, if you can, is to give me a decent English translation. So number one, le cercle amical. Cercle looks like an English word, it might sound like it too. On veut faire comme tout le monde fait partie d'un groupe. If you think that is one of the major influences on young people, why they do certain things, well, you can order it, you can put it in order then, number one being, yeah, that's the thing that affects people most, makes people do things, and so on. Number two, une personne célèbre, there's a clue, qu'on admire fume. 3, les parents sont fumeux. Fumer est un moyen de se sentir plus adulte. 5. Les jeunes veulent s'opposer aux règles définies par leurs parents. Fumer représente une sorte de rébellion. It's a nice sentence to steal, if you can. Pour les ados, de nature timide, ado would be slang for adolescent. La cigarette peut donner de l'assurance. Pour les garçons, c'est un moyen de séduire, that might sound like, et de se sentir plus viril. Un professeur qu'on aime fume, so that would be more appropriate for a French school, not necessarily here. 9. La peur de l'échec scolaire, le tabagisme soulève le stress. And finally, pour les filles, c'est un moyen de se imaginer plus cool et plus sexy. So, I've read them out. All you need to do is tell me which of those do you think, between 1 and 10, are the main reasons why people do certain things, and can you give me a decent translation for each of the 10 statements? And again, I'll mark that as you upload. Excellent. So, to wind up and finish the smoking topic, it's an essay now. It's something that is going to be assessed in the writing exam. I would like to think the vast majority of people, by the time we hit year 11, will be ready to do higher tier writing. Now, the most you'll ever have to write in higher tier is 150 words. Okay, so I'm looking for 150 words on tu es pour ou contre le tabagisme. Are you for or against smoking? 150 words, okay, they give you 10% leeway, so you can go to about 165, 170 words if you need to. Don't do much more, because they're just not going to, they won't not mark it, but the more you're writing to excess, the more chance there is to make mistakes, right? So try and keep it as close to the word limit as you possibly can. Here's how you get the grades, right? So to get a C, your response will be simple reasons given, say cool, whatever, and it'll be fairly accurate. Everybody is capable of this, I would say. To get into the B category, you'd be using adverbs, naturally, usually, anything ending in ly, but the French version, obviously. You'd give an extended response with maybe 2 reasons why you smoke, or why you're for or against it. I think, again, most people should be able to do that. And here's where it is. A's and A stars. This is what we've got to be aiming for, right? Now, writing, it's hard to do on the spot, so use all of your work that you've done so far to help you out. Use any of the vocabulary that we've sort of covered in the last few lessons to build your answer. So again, using adverbs, normalement, naturellement. Extend your reply with at least 2 reasons and justifications. So if you are going to say something, make sure you can justify it. Now, we've got plenty of reasons for why you might be for or against. Try and use them. So show an ability to analyse causes or consequences. So let's say that you are against smoking. Well, are you aware of the consequences of it? You should be, because you've got the vocabulary. And you may use both points of view in the same answer with no contradiction. So can you give a balanced view? well, I'm against smoking, however, certain people smoke because, and so on and so forth. And that will be the end of the smoking topic. Okay, so because I'm slightly late uploading the screen grab of this, I'm going to give you an extra day. So next Tuesday will be great. I think I've changed the due date on Moodle. I'll have a quick look now before I send this over to Mr. Lewis to do what he does with all this presentation. And if there are any questions on what you need to do, or anything related to French at all, please feel free to drop me a line on calatm@hubcymru.net. And thank you once again for all of your hard work. Thanks all. Au revoir.